All right, so thank you, Miss Cap, for a morning meeting. Today's date is January 8th, 2021. It's a Friday. Um, I wanted to use today kind of as a catch-up day. We need to finish the lesson on Muhammad Ali. I don't know if we got through all of that before the break, but I know that I didn't give you a checkpoint for Muhammad Ali. I also want to spend a little bit of time talking about this because it's a social sciences class about what took place yesterday or 2 days ago now in Washington, D.C. So we're going to start off looking at the checkpoints first. I think I reviewed some of the checkpoints last night. I was on Summit. So let me pull up Summit. Okay. Where's Summit? Okay. So at this point for this class, all right, now I have nothing coming up. Okay. All right. So for social sciences so far, you've had two checkpoints. Our first checkpoint was identifying a way in which a celebrity gives back. I believe most students that are here have this checkpoint one done. Let's see. Meadow, I sent you some feedback on your on what you submitted. If you could look at that in private. Um, okay, so Zenalia, I'm sharing your screen. I hope you don't mind. So checkpoint number one was we were finding a way that our various athletes and celebrities have given back to their community or society. That is on Summit. It says PowerPoint number one. So you were supposed to respond with a athlete or a celebrity and give an example of how they gave back. It's about a paragraph. To cohesive paragraph. Zenalia did a good one here, so I have it up here. So your checkpoint number one was locating an athlete or celebrity and documenting how they have given back to their community or to society. That was checkpoint number one. So if anybody has any problems with checkpoint number one, from 1 to about 3 p.m. every day, I'm in the lab. I tell the students when you come into the lab, most of the time mic, the camera will be off, but the mic is on. All you have to do is just yell my name and I will answer. Okay. That's 1 to 3 p.m. every day for all students. Our second checkpoint is down here. And this was to create, let me show you the PowerPoint for that. You're supposed to create some type of celebrity endorsement. You could have made it, I'll show you the example that I made. Okay. So can you guys see this slides right here? This is from back. This is from back on. It's about a month ago, and this was checkpoint number two. So for checkpoint number two, you can create either an endorsement using your favorite celebrity for a social cause. So you want to use your entertainer for whatever social cause, reason, group. I did an example. This would be an example that I did here. Of course, I'm a big Bob Marley fan, and I know Zenalia, she did hers on Drake. So what I would do is a celebrity endorsement, where this is hypothetical. I would put Bob Marley for World Peace. And put it together with a picture that was already pre-made. Um, Peace, love, and unity between all people. So if he was going to take a stance on a social issue, which he did, take stance on social injustice, peace, love, unity between races, unity between people, this would be my simple checkpoint number 2 endorsement. You do have a second option for checkpoint number 2. If you did not want to create an endorsement, right above here, about 2 slides before, is some information with 2 articles that basically sum up the drawbacks of philanthropy. How the money is sometimes is not equally distributed among the people that truly need it, and that those who are allocating this money are not, as you see right here, 82% of nonprofit CEOs are white, 94% of foundation presidents are white, and 86% of board members are white. So when we're talking about allocations and returning money, philanthropy to the community, is the money that's being back to the community, is it negative? So you can explain why it's negative. If the money is not equally distributed among the people who need it, um, also you can go into whether or not one of these questions here is, what if the giving is just cosmetic? What if the giving is just to boost that celebrities or athletes' public perception? Let's say they're on trial for something or they're being accused of something. Sometimes giving money can be used as a shield for their public image. Um, You can also examine how can celebrities lose endorsements and opportunities by supporting the wrong. Now, notice I put the wrong in quotations because that's just one person's perception. Social stance such as kneeling or raising a fist um, in the Olympics during the national anthem. And then there's an article, it's below, and this gives you some of the drawbacks of giving and some research about philanthropy going wrong. So for checkpoint number 2, you have 2 options. Um, so we'll look at checkpoint number 3, which is going to be going up. We spent time going over the civil rights movement and studying the 1968 Olympic Games. A third checkpoint will have to do with the 1968 Olympic Games. And there are plenty of resources inside this PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is up on Summit also. And the questions will be, let me show you the questions. I have them on the Google Drive. Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen with you. So if you go on the share drive and hit checkpoint number 3, this will be checkpoint number 3 for this class. So it's gonna be 1968 and political protest. It just gives you a summary. In 1968, 2 prominent athletes from America decided to stage a nonviolent protest on the podium at the Olympic Games. You're going to use the PowerPoint and class notes. There's also a few videos. Oops. And please answering the following questions. So was it important enough for Smith and Carlos to take a stand on the Olympic podiums for what they believed? What happened to Carlos and Smith after the protest? And then also there's a section on Peter Norman. And there's 3 questions on Peter Norman. So this is about the 68 games. That's going to be your third checkpoint. For the class, you'll probably not have a final product. But more than likely it'll be this PowerPoint on Ali. So let me stop the share. Before we went to the break, I know we did some of it. Do we, Zanelia or Meadow, do you guys remember getting through the Muhammad Ali section? Zanelia, you with me? All right, well, not getting a response. So I'm going to go over it again then. This should be, oh, that's not it. Sorry. Maybe it's 12:10. Okay, it's 12:21. Okay. Okay. Sean, meet me at 1:00 p.m. if you can. And I will get everything you need to you to get caught up. All right. It's the same link. Okay, so let's review. Before we went to the break, we were still talking about celebrities and their responsibility to give back to their communities. Um, and we're trying to come up with this idea. Is there such a thing as social responsibility? Does a celebrity who gains financial wealth or fame have any responsibility to give back to the communities where they came from? That's kind of been our occurring question throughout this unit, whether or not celebrities and athletes have that responsibility. We've discussed this in many different ways and forms. Some people think that from past class that it is a responsibility. Some people feel like it's a personal choice. But I want to focus on what's on the line for these celebrities and athletes who decide to take a stance on social change. Did we do this, Zenalia? Did we go through this part here? I can't remember. I'm not sure if I got to this class or not because we went to the break. Somebody help me here. Come on, that was here. I don't want to rehash the same things. Okay, yeah, it's okay, Rashawn, if you weren't here. I was actually trying to get to Miss Anelia. Miss Johnson, Miss Johnson. Hey, Miss Johnson. Hey, yo, Miss Johnson. Calling Miss Johnson. Zanelia. She probably got the baby. Yes. Do you remember before we left? I know it's been a minute. Do you remember before we left? Did we get to Muhammad Ali? Can you remember?
Um, shoot, we did an assignment on him. Wait, we read something about him, and you had some questions that you had put on submit, right?
Yes. Well, the questions weren't put up on Summit yet, but I was just making sure that I wasn't rehashing a lot of stuff. So what we'll do is just go through this quickly for those that were not here. I mean, I have another lesson for today that I want to go over. That's more of a current event thing. Okay. This will probably be your last checkpoint, or I may change it to a project. Thank you, Zanelia. I appreciate it. I know you got the baby there, but I knew you were the only one of
It's okay.
the only ones that were here. Um, oops, sorry. Ah, okay, there goes my whole slide. That was not good. Try to go back here. Sorry. Shanice, welcome to class. We are reviewing our checkpoints, and we're going to be covering a current event today. I was going over checkpoint 1, 2, and will be checkpoint number 3 because your progress reports go out, I believe, next Monday. So if you need to get caught up or you have any issues with anything with class, you need to let me know. Okay. So good morning. So we were reviewing and rehashing. Rashawn, you can take some notes if you want to, but mostly we have been discussing celebrity and athletes. And so since I got a couple people in class, what makes a person a celebrity? Or yeah, just use the word celebrity. What would define somebody as a celebrity? What type of criteria would you need to have to be a celebrity? I'll get started. I can say that one of the criteria for being a celebrity is recognition, public recognition. What other qualities would you have to have? Like we see here, we see King Von, we see LeBron James. What kind of what factors do they share as celebrities? One of them is that people know them, people recognize them. What else makes them to be considered a celebrity? What do you celebrities usually have a lot of besides fans? Money. Exactly. That's one of the second criteria. They definitely have money. Celebrity recognition is called fame, and of course, they're going to have some type of talent, right? They have to have some type of talent, whether that talent be a musical talent or a physical talent. They must possess some type of talent. Now, I know we live in a different world today where people spend their days on YouTube doing nonsense, and somehow that's talent. But they're still they're still gaining celebrity status. It doesn't matter how they do it, even if that talent is not. When I was younger, we had Jackass, which was a show on MTV, and they did a bunch of wild, crazy things, and they became celebrities that way. Now today, you guys have these influencers, these people on Instagram, IG models. You have people who are on, and what is I know you guys aren't that young, but there's a guy that does YouTube for the little kids, and I don't know what, I can't remember his name, but he just like drives, his voice just drives me crazy. But all the kids want to stream what he's playing. So that's another way that you can become rich today in today's society. Yes, you can become rich just by playing video games. Never, when we were kids, they told us video games will rot your brain. Don't ever play video games. Now there's kids making millions of dollars of doing that. So to be a celebrity, you have to have some type of criteria. The celebrity that we're going to review real quick was Muhammad Ali. To give you some background information, this group of people were called the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam was a religious sect that was founded in North America. And the nation's overall ideology was that the white man in America had to be a devil, had to be a devil incarnate because of the lynching, the castrations, the murders, the brutality, the burning down of homes, the separating of families that he saw from such groups as the Ku Klux Klan. So this the prophet, I believe his name was Farad, Muhammad Farad, and then it went from him to Elijah Muhammad, and from Elijah Muhammad, the leadership transferred to Malcolm X, and today the gentleman in the blue tie is Louis Farrakhan. So that's kind of the succession of the Nation of Islam. Why is it relevant for what we're talking about? Is because the celebrity that we're talking about today decided to join the Nation of Islam. You can watch all these videos. These YouTubes are hyperlinks, which means if you click on them, also up at the top, there's a Britannica.com, Nation of Islam. So inside of here, all my sources are cited. So if you worry where something comes from, if it's not cited, that means that I wrote it. So Muhammad Ali, we should all be kind of familiar with Muhammad Ali, probably one of the most prominent athletes of the 20th century. Arguably one of the best, arguably the best boxer of all time. You'll find very few people who would consider anybody better than Ali. There's some arguments out there, but just for overall, he's considered to be one of the greatest of all time. He won a gold medal in 1960 Olympics at 18. And shortly after that, he became a member of the Nation of Islam, this group that we were talking about. He changed his name to Cassius X and then to Muhammad Ali in 1964. There's a video here of Ali, of people asking him, what is it like to be Muslim in America? And if you know anything about Muhammad Ali, he was very outspoken. He did not have much fear when it came to publicly addressing problems with race and race relations in America. Especially if you understand he was born in 1942, so it's not like he was born in our time. He was born before our time. So this is where his celebrity status started to intersect with his responsibility socially. So in 1967, Ali had been the reigning world heavyweight champion for 3 years. He publicly refused to be inducted into the American military during the Vietnam War. As a result of his actions, he was stripped of his title and banned from boxing for 3 years. He actually faced 5 years in jail and I think it was $100,000 fine. I'm sorry. Yep, he did not want to go, and Ali said that I'm not going halfway around the world to kill other poor people. I'm just not going to do it. So he refused to serve in Vietnam. He was drafted, and his case went all the way to the Supreme Court, where he used the term the conscientious objector because of his Muslim faith. And after 1970, He regained after I guess, a tune-up fight with what was the guy's name? It'll come to me. Jerry Quarry, I believe. He went back to fight George Foreman in 1970 and regained the heavyweight title. He fought until 1981 and he ended his career with a 56-5 professional record. So inside the ring, there was no doubt that he was a successful man. He was arguably the heavyweight. He was the best heavyweight champion that we've seen in a long time. It was Jerry Quarry. My grandmother used to tell me. My grandmother's 89 years old. She was a big Muhammad Ali fan, and she said she remembered that they turned on the radio, and she said you couldn't use the bathroom during a Muhammad Ali fight because by the time you got out the bathroom, the fight was over. He knocked a guy out, or it was over quickly. Um, so his talent was definitely undeniable. So on April 28th, 1967, the United States was at war in Vietnam. Ali refused to be inducted into the armed forces, saying, "I ain't got no quarrel with those Viet Cong." Um, so on June 20th, he was convicted of draft evasion, sentenced to 5 years in prison, and it wasn't $100,000, it was $10,000, and banned for boxing for 3 years. He stayed out of prison as his case was appealed and returned to the ring on October 26, 1970, knocking out Jerry Quarry. And then he fought Joe Frazier, who was a Philadelphia native, and lost after 15 rounds, which was the first loss of his boxing career. On the same year, the United States Supreme Court overturned his conviction for evading the draft. So the United States Supreme Court agreed with Muhammad Ali that he did not have to fight in the Vietnam War because of his Muslim faith. So Ali's response to not wanting to serve in the United States military, he said that his oppressor was here in the United States. Um, this quote on the right: I ain't draft dodging. I ain't burning the flag. I ain't running to Canada. I'm staying right here. You want to send me to jail? Fine. You go right ahead. I've been in jail for 400 years. I could be there for 4 or 5 more, but I ain't going no 10,000 miles to help murder and kill other poor people. If I want to die, I'll die right now, right here, fighting you. If I want to die, you're my enemy. Not no Chinese, not no Viet Cong, no Japanese. You're my oppressor when I want freedom. You're my oppressor when I want justice. So this was a statement that was made to Ali to the white press, primarily white press here in America. I'm not going to go around on the other side of the world and fight people who are poor like me. When I want freedom, when I want equality, when I want civil justice, when I want civil rights, when I want civil liberty, the person who is stopping you is right here in America. So if I'm going to die fighting a war, I'm going to die right here on American soil. Um, and he would rather fight his oppressor here than go halfway around the world to kill other poor people for the United States. When he felt, and he was right, when blacks here and still till today do not get equal respect or treatment in the U.S. So just as a informal check for understanding, now you know that Mr. Townsend is a vet. I am a veteran. I did serve my country in the Marine Corps. What are your thoughts about people of color in the United States or ethnic minorities serving in the military? Should people should people serve in the military who aren't treated fairly at home? Putting it in chat. So should people serve in the military who are not getting equal treatment at home? What about today? Do you think it's a good idea? What do you think, Rashawn, Zanelia, Meadow, Shanice? What do you guys think? Should people go and fight for a country that does not give them equal rights at home? Would you want to fight for a country that does not give you equal rights? Okay, Rashawn said no. Anybody else? Let me rephrase my question. Since I have a couple more ladies than men, this includes you too, Miss Cat. Would you want to work for an organization that didn't give women equal pay and treatment? Zanelia, Meadow, would you want to work for an organization or a company that did not give women the same treatment as men? Any of you ladies can answer. Okay, thank you.
I mean, this is a tough one because I personally wouldn't, but at the same time, um, I feel like these beliefs are ingrained not only in like the military, but also like a lot of different areas and occupations as well. So I think it's something you would see almost everywhere.
Okay, so a little bit of universal kind of stuff going on there that we would see it regardless. So
Yeah.
I know
I
that
guess the difference is also though that in the case of the military, you're putting your life on the line.
that's true. So that's a different animal. That in one case you're putting your life on the line, which is very true, and the other one you're not. So I don't think anybody would want to be involved with any type of group, whether it be the military, whether it be activism, where they're not represented. I mean, they're not represented in that group, or they're not equally treated in that group. So, like Miss Cat said, of course, those ideas will kind of cross over into other realms. But overall, I guess for what we're talking about, to put it in perspective, is they were asking Muhammad Ali to risk his life in the jungles of Vietnam for a country that really doesn't give him equal treatment at home. And it wasn't just him. Remember, he was not just saying me. As a member of the Nation of Islam, he was talking as a leader for most people of color here in the United States. He was saying that we're not being treated fairly at home. So why would I want to go somewhere else and fight in the name of this country? This is just for your own edification. This is a condensed version of the fight of the century, Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. So if you want to see how truly talented he was, you can, in your own time, you can watch that video. Okay. So he finished his professional career at 56 and 5. He was humanitarian and a philanthropist. There is a article here about how he was pivotal in getting hostages released from Iran. Okay, so the checkpoint 3 for that will be just a few questions on Muhammad Ali. So you'll be able to answer the PowerPoint with the PowerPoint for that. I'll have to put that on Summit. Summit's been giving me some issues lately on what has been posting. So that's going to be our checkpoint 1, checkpoint 2, and checkpoint 3. All of those have to do with celebrities and athletes who take a risk to stand out. In the case of Norman Smith and Carlos in the 68 Olympics, they had some consequences. Norman's consequences were actually more harsh than Smith and Carlos's. Muhammad Ali, I'll put some questions about some of the consequences that he faced the possibility of losing his title, being ostracized, and being labeled. There's a lot of information in that PowerPoint. That took me about 4 hours to put together. So there is a lot of links. There's a lot of visual information there too. So use those hyperlinks. There are articles there to expound information. There are videos there to expound the way you learn. So just don't look at the words. Use the hyperlinks. That's why they're there. Okay. So for today, I want to talk about what happened in Washington, D.C. Let me see. And if you were probably in my other class, you may have got some of this yesterday, but I felt like I wanted to at least speak with each class once about this. Where did I put it at? Okay. Just trying to get this screen share here. Okay. Okay, so this is just a current event. It's related to social science. So I feel like I need to at least discuss it with you guys for a few minutes. So checkpoint 1, 2, and 3 will be on Summit. I will put an announcement up when it's up. You will get graded on your progress report for what you did on checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 2. Checkpoint 3 will go into your final overall grade. I did check everything in Summit. If you got a yellow, if I sent you back something in yellow, it's probably because more likely I believe that your response was cut and paste. If your response is cut and paste with hyperlinks in it, I'm simply not going to accept it. Take the time to sit down. You are intelligent enough. Have some patience, sit down and write it in your own words. I would rather you have a few grammatical errors and a few structural errors than to right click and paste someone else's thoughts. That does you nothing. It helps you not learn anything. So I would rather you take 3 or 4 sentences and write out a well thought response to the question than to Google it. And because I already look up Google Answers. And so if I see Google Answers or if I feel that's structured as a cut and paste, I will reject it. Okay. So current events. What happened yesterday? We're actually on the cusp of a removal of a president, which we haven't had in quite some time, either a rapid impeachment, a resignation, or a removal. This hasn't happened since 1968 with Richard Nixon was the last president to resign. But it looks like we're headed that way to a resignation or a impeachment. I think what may happen is the impeachment may happen because they don't want him to be able to run again in 2024. And an impeachment would dequalify him of high crimes and misdemeanors. So let's see what happened here. I'm just going to put this up on the screen. We're just going to talk about it, get some of your feedback. So 2 days ago, on January 6th, the Senate and the Congress were supposed to get together to confirm the votes and to confirm Joe Biden as the 46th president of the United States of America. Well, President Trump at the time decided to have a counter rally where he riled up his supporters and in so many words told them to start a civil insurrection, which is by definition, it's treason. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Sedition and civil insurrection and trying to stop a lawful election can be defined no other way but the Constitution, but treason. So let's see what happened.
Nobody knows what's going on. There's never been anything like this. We will not let it happen. Silence your voices. We're not going to let it happen.
Mr. Townsend, we can't see the video.
I share your conviction that President Trump should remain president. I share that conviction. Yes. The law matters with us. I share that conviction. But the law matters.
Oh, meanwhile, up on the steps of the backside of the Capitol, we're seeing protesters overcome the police. The police are now running back into the Capitol building. We have cheers from the protesters that are watching behind the scenes. This is incredible.
We're in. Let's go. Let's go. Get on in there.
We were just told that there has been tear gas in the rotunda, and we're being instructed to each of us get gas masks that are under our seats. And tactical vehicles are pulling up to the Capitol.
I want you all to know that I'm safe. This is such a sad day in America. We're sequestered in a room till we're safe. The protesters are still in the building. I just want to say, stay strong. And I don't know what to say about today, but this could never happen again.
This afternoon, I announced a citywide curfew for the District of Columbia beginning at 6 p.m. this evening, going until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. The behavior that we are witnessing is shameful, unpatriotic, and above all, it is unlawful. Anyone who has engaged in these activities, continues to engage in these activities, will be held accountable. There will be law and order, and this behavior will not be tolerated.
But just remember this, you're stronger, you're smarter, you've got more going than anybody, and they try and demean everybody having to do with us, and you're the real people, you're the people that built this nation. You're not the people.
Okay. So you weren't able
Yeah,
to
I
see it?
tried to interrupt in the beginning, but I don't think you heard me. That might have just been on my end, but I could hear it, but I couldn't see it.
Oops. Were you students unable to see it too? Rashawn, Zanelia, were you unable to see the video? Meadow, Shanice? Oh, you weren't able to see it. Okay. I wish somebody would have interrupted me at some point.
Yeah, I tried. I don't think you could hear me.
I'm sorry about that. I don't think I have time to show it again. It basically showed all the civil unrest that was going on in the Capitol. It kind of has to be seen to believe. But I think the last official count was 4 people died. A woman was shot in the head by Capitol Police for trying to breach the Capitol. As a soldier, as someone who actually believes still in American democracy, every single one of those people should be arrested for sedition and treason. They tried to overturn a legal election by force. We call that a coup or coup d'état. It was a attempt to shift power, which today has caused, which may end in a resignation or a removal of the president. There's only 12 days left to the inauguration of Joe Biden. But we've never seen a precedent this before of this type of violence. And it's almost eerily reminds me of like seeing like the SS or the Waffenberg or the, being cheered on by Adolf Hitler to continue these atrocious acts against people. So even in defeat, this current executive has become quite dangerous to our democracy. Anybody with any type of hindsight or functioning cerebral cortex or frontal lobe could have seen it like 5 years ago that he was dangerous. But that is sometimes how it has to play out in a democracy. We choose leaders, and then we're left with the consequences of those leaders. That social movement, I guess I can just save that. So our last 2 weeks, we're going to be looking at social movements. Hold on, I have a list. We're going to be looking at anti-war movements. We're going to be looking at gay liberation, and we're going to be looking at women's liberation. So we're going to look at 3 social groups. Three social movements. And they're going to be incorporated with celebrities, whether it be for rights for people of color or rights for people who are, what's the acronym? LGBTQ. Is that right? Okay. Is there any more letters? I think I got them all right. So that community of people who are gay and lesbian. And then we're going to look at war. We're going to look at gay rights and probably some women's liberations rights. That will be our last section. And you're going to choose one of those movements. And you're going to either give me some type of timeline of that movement or some of the key players. I'll type up the exact details of what you're going to do, but that'll be your final product. Okay. Rashawn, if you want to meet with me at 1 o'clock, I will have the computer on. Do I have any questions on any of the checkpoints? The one with Ali, that'll go up. And our last section will be looking at big social movements. And since this is relevant, I will include this MAGMA people in our social movements, because we want to look at the positive and negatives of social movements and being involved. Believe me, even on the other side of the fence, a lot of people have lost credibility who were Republican or who were actors for supporting this political group or ideology. So like Roseanne Barr, she lost her show because some things that were said. So we're going to look at some of the positive and negatives of celebrities taking stances on these social issues. So that's going to be our from now to the end of the unit.
Checkpoint 2 was, excuse me,
Yes,
excuse me,
go ahead.
sorry. Was checkpoint 2 a right way and a wrong way, right?
Yeah, there was a right way. I did put a right way and a wrong way on there.
So but that's not checkpoint 2?
It is. I'm taking both of them because I created a checkpoint 2 by accident. So there's actually 2 checkpoints up there. So if you did either one of them, it's fine because they're all related.
Okay.
Okay. I know that's sorry. I'm sorry. That's a little bit confusing. Some it can be a little bit hard to navigate sometimes. If you responded to the right or wrong way of protest, that's something that we did cover in class with Colin Kaepernick. So it is relevant. So I'll take credit for either one of those. Okay, Shanice?
Okay.
All right. All right. Well, I think we went 10:20 or 10:20. Yep, it is 10:18. So enjoy your weekend. I'm glad you made it this morning. If you need to see me, 1 o'clock. Okay. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you, Miss Cat, for opening up us this morning. We appreciate you. And enjoy your weekend, folks. If you have any questions, please email me. All right. Thank you. Have a good day, guys.